Drones have hit two Saudi Aramco oil facilities, triggering large explosions.
Okay, let's be honest here. If you or I lived in Yemen, we'd be sick of being constantly attacked by Saudi Arabian terrorists. And these Saudi-fueled attacks cost the kingdom a pretty penny. The war on Yemen, launched by the Saudi clown prince Mohammed bin Salman in 2015, cost Saudi Arabia several $billion each and every month. The Saudi budget deficit increased again this year and is expected to reach 7% of its GDP. So the country needs fresh money or much higher oil prices. So now we have the attacks on the Saudi oil fields, which raised oil prices. And even though Yemen's Houthi rebels explicitly claim responsibility for these attacks, the bankers, of course, want Pompeo to blame Iran, which he did. And Iran, by the way, who's obviously sick of the acts of war known as sanctions daily enforced by the U.S. war machine. Yemen's Houthi armed forces spokesman claimed responsibility for the oil attacks in no uncertain words, saying, "This operation is one of the largest operations carried out by our forces in the depth of Saudi Arabia and came after an accurate intelligence operation and advanced monitoring and cooperation of honorable and free men within the kingdom." And this claim of cooperation by people within Saudi Arabia will make the Saudi rulers even more paranoid than they usually are. And it may well be that drones were launched from inside Saudi Arabia and that their launch point was far nearer to the target than is publicly assumed. The Houthi spokesman continued, "We promise the Saudi regime that our future operations will expand further and be more painful than ever as long as it continues its aggression and siege." In other words, just lay off our country. Back off. We affirm that our goals bank is expanding day by day and that there is no solution for the Saudi regime except to stop the aggression and siege on our country. And that seems pretty rational. In sharp but not unexpected escalation, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, now without John Bolton by his side, tweeted at 4 p.m. on Saturday that contrary to earlier reports, there is no evidence the attacks came from Yemen, and instead accused Iran, of course, of launching today's unprecedented attack on the world's energy supply, which has now indefinitely taken offline as much as 5 million barrels a day in Saudi crude production. In a follow-up tweet, Pompeo said that he calls, quote, "on all nations to publicly and unequivocally condemn Iran's attacks," which is odd because not even Saudi Arabia accused Iran of today's aggression.
I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses. It reminds you of the glory of the American experiment,
which many people speculate could have been a Saudi false flag in hopes of sending the price of oil soaring ahead of Aramco's IPO. Funny how that all works out. Pompeo concluded that, quote, "the United States will work with our partners and allies to ensure that energy markets remain well supplied and Iran is held accountable for its aggression." You know, that aggression that the Yemen Houthi rebels are claiming responsibility for? The question is, will this pivot away from the Houthis to Iran as the origin of the attack be sufficient grounds to reinflame tensions between the U.S. and Iran, especially following last week's news that one of the reasons Bolton was fired in the first place was due to his hardline stance on Iran, even as Trump was willing to sit down with the Tehran regime for negotiations. Since the bankers always stand to make much more money from war than from peace, you could probably bet the entire house that the answer is a resounding yes. The Wall Street Journal is out with an update hinting at just how much the price of oil is set to soar when trading reopens late on Sunday after the Saudi Houthi drone attack on the largest Saudi oil processing plant. They said Saudi Arabia is shutting down about half of its oil output after apparently coordinated drone strikes hit Saudi production facilities. in what Yemen's Houthi rebels described as one of their largest ever attacks inside the kingdom. The production shutdown amounts to a loss of about 5 million barrels a day, which is roughly 5% of the world's daily production of crude oil. The kingdom produces 9.8 million barrels a day. And while Aramco is assuring it can restore output quickly, in case it can't, the world is looking at a production shortfall of as much as 150 million barrels monthly, which, all else equal, could send oil soaring into the triple digits. Just what the Aramco IPO ordered. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. If you guys enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know. Also, check out over 100 hard-hitting designs in the shirt store, and if you want to support more content, hit me up on Patreon or PayPal. All those links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.